Imagine a legendary slasher icon, straight out of a blood-soaked horror franchise, making a surreal guest appearance on a late-night talk show in the 1980s, and turning it into a hilarious triumph. This isn't just any crossover, it's a moment that redefined promotional stunts and left viewers both shocked and giggling. But here's where it gets controversial. Could this be seen as glorifying violence, or was it pure, clever entertainment? Let's dive in and unpack the brilliance behind Jason Voorhees' unforgettable spot on Arsenio Hall's show, exploring how it boosted a rising star in late-night TV while keeping the horror hype alive. For decades, Johnny Carson reigned supreme as the king of late night, hosting his NBC show from 11:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. It was the ultimate platform for celebrities to plug films, albums, or even launch comedy acts. Stars like Frank Sinatra, Muhammad Ali, Grace Kelly, Burt Reynolds, and Bob Hope all graced Carson's couch. No one seemed too famous for The Tonight Show. Well, almost no one. There was one notorious figure who skipped Carson entirely in 1989, opting instead for the fresh, edgy vibe of Arsenio Hall's rising program. That figure? The infamous killer, Jason Voorhees, the machete-wielding monster from the Friday the 13th series, who had claimed over 150 lives across 10 films. At the time, the franchise was in a holding pattern due to ongoing legal battles, but Paramount had big plans for the upcoming Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. And this appearance was a game-changer, proving Arsenio's show was the cool, alternative choice compared to Carson's established throne. Even though the Pat Sajak show existed as a rival, it lacked the same buzz and felt overly traditional. In reality, this segment might have been a corporate push from Paramount Television to get their property some airtime, potentially pressuring the newcomer Hall. The setup was wild, non-speaking, axe-carrying Jason, there to promote the movie, would sit across from Arsenio as the host fired off questions and comments that went entirely unanswered. For beginners in showbiz history, think of it like a high-stakes improv, where one participant doesn't participate at all. It could have bombed spectacularly, leaving everyone cringing. Instead, it became a wildly amusing 5-minute bit that had audiences in stitches. And this is the part most people miss. It wasn't forced drama or cheap scares that made it work. It was pure comedic timing. Jason Voorhees shines as the ultimate slasher straight man in this sketch. In comedy terms, a straight man is the serious foil who sets up jokes without delivering them, allowing the funnier partner to bounce lines off them, like Abbott and Costello, where one plays it deadpan. Arsenio and his team wisely avoided scripting a fake storyline where the host provokes Jason into a rage, faking fear or running from the set amid screams, which would have echoed cheesy gimmicks like RoboCop crashing a wrestling match. That might sound fun, but it could have come across as tacky and over the top. Instead, Arsenio positioned Jason as this looming, menacing presence for spot-on humor. He starts a bit shakily, admitting he's a fan of the series before asking what turned Jason into a murderer. For many watching, the question about whether Jason's rampages stemmed from a rocky breakup is downright hilarious. Imagine probing a fictional killer's dating history. Personally, I'd have loved Arsenio to dig deeper into Jason's backstory, like the traumatic event that fueled his rage. The decapitation of his mother, Pamela Voorhees, which kicked off the whole cycle of revenge. Still, Arsenio earns praise for quizzing why Jason ditched his iconic machete in the new flick. Was he afraid of being pigeonholed as the machete guy? And his title suggestions for future movies are gold, especially Jason's big top, playing on the circus theme. The actor under the mask, Kane Hodder, who also portrayed Jason in the films, is a master of timing. Like the Jack Benny of slashers, Benny was a comedian known for his precise, deadpan delivery. Hodder's subtle movements and pauses elevate Arsenio's punchlines to new heights, especially when the host asks Jason to introduce a movie clip. Spoiler alert, it's a scene from late in the film set in Times Square. accidentally revealing which characters survive to the end. A perfect, unintentional meta joke. As promotional tricks go, this was brilliantly inventive, giving the Arsenio Hall Show a rebellious edge that set it apart. Unfortunately, the program eventually played it too safe, shifting toward conventional content that dulled its initial spark. It wrapped up quietly in 1994, missing out on potential gems like chatting with Ghostface from the Scream movies. But here's a controversial twist. Some argue that stunts like this desensitize audiences to horror violence or turn killers into punchlines, potentially undermining the genre's seriousness. Others see it as harmless fun, a way to humanize monsters and boost creativity. What do you think? Was this a bold, innovative move that pushed boundaries, or did it cross a line by trivializing real-world violence? Do you believe talk shows should host fictional villains, or is it better to keep them confined to the screen? Share your opinions in the comments. I'd love to hear if you agree, disagree, or have your own horror crossover dream.